Hotep.
Hotep, what's going on?
Now we have the brother Sobek on the line.
Yep.
My name is Suleiman Gaskins, and I'm here on Blog Talk Radio just to answer a couple of questions that's on the Nuwaubian website.
Okay, good. I appreciate it. Hatep to the listening audience. And, of course, Hatep just means peace. I am Sobek, and I am a student of the master teacher, Pa Nabab Yanun, who is the master of heaven and earth, also known as Malachi Z. Kobina York. And I've been in the doctrine now since 1988. And, of course, our doctrine or our way of life is called Wunuwap. Now, what that is, real briefly, Wunuwap is a positive powers of nature that reveals the facts of positive nature to you as a Nuwapu or Nuwapians. It is actually just based on facts. It is not based on what we call Zama'at or religious opinions. These are facts. And when you get these facts, which is presented to us by Panabab Yanun, it affects your whole being, and you move forward in facts. And that is a simple way of what we do. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that, Sobek.
Oh, of course.
So now, I was actually on the website a few days ago, and I searched through the questions, and I see there was a few questions that actually got my attention, and I picked out 3 of them. But the first one is, when H1 and HE2 comes together, what new element did it produce?
All right. That's a good question. And the question as posed, what element is the result of H1, which is hydrogen, and He2, which is helium? What happens when they come together or fusing together? Well, actually there is no new element created per se. What happens, and this information can actually be found in the Master Secret Series number 3, which is entitled Dimensional Links, and Nabat, or the Sacred Ash. So if you go to verse 60 within that same Master Secret that I'm referring to, it explains what happens. It says the two, H1 and He2, had to come together to birth Pa-Re-A. Pa-Re-A is the sun of this solar system. So that's what happens at first. But if we go back before that particular verse to verses 50 and 51 for a quick moment, you'll see how that even happens. So verse 50, it actually says, so both being feminine. Well, let's start at 50. 50 explains this was the problem, being that hydrogen, H1, has only 1 proton, and helium, H2, has 2 protons. So verse 51 goes on to say, so both those protons, being feminine, they could not combine or fuse to birth a new kind of atom of 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, which is the makeup of carbon, which is known as C6. So actually what it's telling you is Pa-Re-A, or the sun, it's not a new element. It's just a continuous culmination of the 2 primary elements. Or a change or creation of new elements does not begin yet until verses 65 through 67 of that same Master Secret. So when you go to 65, it explains that in the sun's raham, or womb, or furnace, the protons, just as the egg of an ovum, turn into a heavier and heavier atom, just as metal, which is another word for semen, in the ovum creates a fetus. So what you're saying is by attraction of heat, the hydrogen atoms combine to become helium, He2, in cells. These cells are called a daughter cell from itself. And then those helium, H2 atoms combine to become carbon, or C6, particles of creation of Shayanat, or things. So what happens with that, what that's explaining is at the point of H1 and H2 fusing together, there's nothing new that happens. It's just a combination of those 2 primary. And when you add H1, 1 proton, and He2, 2 protons, you only have 3. But them together are not enough to begin that process of creating the other elements. Those other elements which created once the daughter cell has come about, then you start getting the other elements, which takes us up to carbon 6. So that's actually what happened.
Oh, okay. So basically these 2 elements, they reproduced, or I want to say give life to other elements that came up under that element, if I'm not wrong.
That would be correct.
Okay.
Alone they could not. You see what I'm saying? They could not do it alone. So it needed a lot of heat to make these two hug. And it was like 9 million degrees to be exact. So, yes, once they were begin to come together, then they would create what's called a daughter cell. From that daughter cell, as in any other scientific expression, the daughter cells make more cells. Now, these cells began to get heavier and heavier in terms of the weight of atoms. That heavier weight began to bring about those other elements on up to carbon.
Okay. Definitely got some clarity on that. I have a second question. It says, can you explain what is meant by spirit, as found in the Patarak, called soul, spirit, sphere?
All right, cool. Yeah, that's another good question. Actually, what it is, that Patarak, and that word Patarak simply means Pa, the Tarak, way. That's the way of us as Nuwapians. So in that particular Patarak, which is a newer scroll, it's entitled that because what people have to understand is that it's not just a soul and a spirit. From the religious circles, people think soul and spirit are the same, when in fact they are not. Not only are they not the same, it is not one of them. Each one of those have a counterpart. So the question that's saying what is spirit, that is actually explained from verses 82 to 85. And I'll begin with 82. It says, there is also a ka, which means spirit, called nefas. There's a spirit, and then it's also called nefas, spirit personality. And it is essential character or gender. Meaning on 83, it goes on to say, it is formed after birth, and it grows with each person as they develop their own ways. Now, 84, the nefas can destroy you by moods, depression, or actions. 85 teaches us that your personality affects your whole being, inside out and outside in. So basically they're telling you that there are counterparts to this, because what we do is there are 9 parts to your existence. One is Pa-Ku, the overbeing. The second one is Pa-Akak, the etheric being. The third one is Pa-Ba, the creative expressional being. Fourth is Pa-Raha, the breath of the living being. 5 is Pa-Ka, the exoplasmic being. Pa-Nefas, the living being. We discussed spirit. That's number 5, Pa-Ka, spirit. Pa-Nefas is number 6, the living being. So that was explained in the verses that I read, that there are 2 counterparts of each other. Then you have 7, which is Pa-Katat, the physical being. And then you have, 8, which is Pa-Kabatu, and then you have the 9th one as well. So there are actually 9 in total. And what it is the 9th one is actually the mind or the mental being. So the question of spirit just explains how both, one is spirit and one is called spirit personality, and how they can affect you when you're developing your own ways.
Wow. Okay. Wow. So that's a lot to digest right there. Yeah. Okay. So I got some understanding on that.
Okay. Cool.
I definitely gonna have to dissect that a little later.
Okay. You can always pick that up. In any one of the bookstores. Mm-hmm. Okay. Definitely. I also have a third question. What is the meaning of nuclear DNA versus divine DNA? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that's a good question as well, because DNA is identified in various forms. Now, the answer to that question can actually be found in an actual fact number 22, and the name of that one is 18 plus 18 plus 1, the genes of the mitochondria DNA. So you can begin to get an understanding of what the nuclear DNA when you read verses 17 through 20, and I'll read those. 17 begins with nuclear DNA, which is found in the nucleus, is actually inherited from both parents. On the other hand, mitochondria DNA is found in the mitochondria, and in most multicellular organisms is inherited from the maternal lineage or the mother only. Nuclear DNA is arranged in a linear, organized chromosomes, while mitochondria DNA is organized as a circular chromosome. So unlike nuclear DNA, whose genes are actually rearranged in the process of recombination, there's usually no change in the mitochondria DNA from parent to offspring. Now, because of this and the fact that the mutation rate, there is there's actually of mitochondrial DNA is higher than that of the nuclear DNA, and it is easily measured. So mitochondrial DNA is a powerful tool that's tracking matrilineage, or lineage from mother to mother to mother to mother, or mother to daughter, all the way down the line of females. And it has been used in this role for tracking the ancestry of many species back hundreds of generations. But also, as we read further in that same natural fact, you will see in verses 163 to 164, where it teaches us that it is your ancestors, Parnatharu, that ensure your survival, Nagaru, by intercepting your cells, giving you this protection from the ultraviolet rays with this divine DNA by way of the cell's mitochondria. Now, it goes on to teach us that mitochondria is completely independent of nuclear DNA and not in any way involved in the function of the cell. This is actually extraterrestrial DNA. So the divine DNA would be the mitochondria, and you have the regular nuclear DNA, which is found in the nucleus of the cells.
Okay,
that's
definitely.
Also but yeah.
Okay, I have two callers on the line. Just unmute them both and see if they do have any questions.
Okay, I'll do my best to answer them.
Okay, definitely. Okay. Our time is actually up.
All right, well, Dow, appreciate it, brother, for the call in. I definitely appreciate you, allowing me a time to address some of those questions. But also, people can check into wunuwap.com every day if they want. But Tuesdays are the updates. But they can go any day and see previous updates to get more of this Wunuwap.